With some of the biggest news this past week at CSGO has ever seen, that being the transitioning of Astralis and Dev1ce, well, signing him over to Ninjas in Pajamas, a reported buyout of $1 million despite his contract being up at the end of this year. Of course, there was bound to be some heated discussion as NIP is going to be releasing probably a lot of content, including him, of which in that content, shortly after his signing, Dev1ce had said some things that, although he has now claimed were out of context, I'm going to play for you guys that clip throughout the press conference, as well as his introduction video on the Ninjas in Pajamas YouTube channel, where he goes on to say, and it seems to be some sort of introductory meeting with his lineup and the staff over there at Ninjas in Pajamas. He says that Astralis sometimes got lucky with their timings of the meta, and that's how they became multiple-time major champions. And along with that, saying that NIP is 5 steps ahead of Astralis with all the surrounding things they do at their facilities and their training, their practice, and outside the game. That seems to be what he was saying.
Yeah, I come from Astralis. I think, speaking to you, Björn and David, obviously one of the things I don't want to come with is the know-how of doing things better. We didn't really do things perfect in our team. We were just lucky a lot of times with the timings in how we read the meta. So I just want to learn how you guys do things and do it your way, and then adapt in that way. So just so you know that I don't want to come in and change stuff up. Just really impressed with the setup, honestly. I think, at least from where I come, you are maybe 5 steps ahead in how you practice, prepare, working with Danny, spoken a little bit with him as well. So just really excited to get going. I think that, as you also said, and as Jonas said, I think we have the possibility to dominate a lot of teams, be the best in the world. I've tried it with different lineups, and I don't think it's necessarily the hardest thing. I think if we get one success, it sort of just gives you a confidence that just moves forward, right? So I think if we just work hard in the beginning, obviously I have a lot of things to learn with the communication, but we can really do crazy stuff in short time.
And shortly after this, with Zonic posting to Twitter, which a lot of people correlated to that introductory video with some of the things that Dev1ce did say, he was under a bit of fire for saying those things, despite, ever since then, now coming out and saying those things were captured without context, to which I ask all of you guys, do you fault Dev1ce for this, or do you fault NIP for putting this out there, knowing full well what Dev1ce said in those clips? Whether context or not, he did say those words, which are hard to misconstrue, that NIP is 5 steps ahead of Astralis, and Astralis, according to Dev1ce, sometimes got lucky with the way they rode metas. It is tough to see, but either way, you kind of have to understand where Dev1ce is coming from. You're just meeting this team for the first time. You're not going to go in there and say, yo, we are currently 3.5 steps behind Astralis. We were way ahead of the game over there. I'm actually not even sure why I'm here at NIP. It's just a really tricky circumstance for him to be in. Do I think he meant any ill will with those statements? No, and I think a lot of people agree with that, but certainly you got to be careful. It seems that NIP is going to be recording just about every interaction you have, and you got to be extremely careful with the word choice you do choose to use, especially with this being the biggest signing we have likely ever seen in CSGO, with NIP grabbing the face of Astralis. Anything you say is probably going to be under fire. So yes, do I think he could have used some better word choice? 100%. But he goes on in the press conference, by the way, to say that they will always be family, that him and the Astralis guys, that core roster who has done something that no other CSGO lineup has ever done in its history, they will always be family. They were like a band together, and they will always love each other.
Just one last question, then I'll stop talking. I know that all the time in Astralis, you were like one big family, which is more than just a Counter-Strike team, right? How hard was it for you? I know that you're close friends with several of them also. How hard was it to deliver that message, and how was it received?
Yeah, as you said, I think we were mainly considering ourselves as a band, right, rather than a team, or it becomes a different bond when you've been together for so long, and yeah, it was rough. There was tears involved and everything, right? I think that with time and having spoken to the team, there's no bad feelings. We leave each other as friends and family, and we'll definitely still have dinners at events and stuff like that, when there's time. but there's also a time for new challenges, and I think they also understood that. And yeah, as a lot of people have mentioned, there's some practical things that makes this a pretty obvious reason as well, because I really believe that I can be a way better player than I've been for some time, and I think that this space and whole unit just allows me to elevate as I've said as well. So I think that they believe in that as well, and we still love each other.
So there's going to be people on both sides of this, thinking that Dev1ce did mean something by it or that he did not. It was Zonic's reaction actually meant for this, this circumstance? Who knows? But either way, with this being the biggest signing we have seen in such a long time, yeah, we're going to be talking about these things. What do you guys think about Dev1ce's comments about Astralis now that he's with NIP? Until next time, most importantly, all right, drink up. Take a big old swig of coffee, some water, stay hydrated, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you back here sometime soon.